Vitality have done the unthinkable. Across an entire season of Counter-Strike, they've only dropped 2 matches, racked up 6 S-tier trophies, and conquered it all with a major win. This wasn't just dominance, this was a masterclass. In today's video, we're going deep, as I'm revealing the 3 big secrets behind why Vitality are miles ahead of the competition. This is how Vitality dominated a whole season of Counter-Strike. But how did Vitality manage to dominate a whole season? Well, it all comes down to 3 key secrets you could see in the major final that I will expose today, so we can finally put an end to this era.
Stop scrolling. Want cheaper skins and quick cash? Let me put you on to Skin.Land, the easiest way to buy and sell skins safely and fast. Are you selling any skins? Use my code AGONOR to get a free $10 bonus on your first sale. Pick the skin you want to sell, choose your payment method, confirm the trade, and boom, your money is on the way. No risk, no waiting. Still using the Steam market? Let's compare. Same skin, same condition, different prices. Steam is pricey, Skin.Land way cheaper. Plus, you got multiple refill options for grabbing fresh, hot skins. So shout out to Skin.Land for sponsoring this video. Bookmark the site, claim your bonus, and don't overpay for skins ever again. Now, let's get back to the video.
To read your opponent is one of the hardest jobs of an IGL and even a team, to be fair, as usually this is a mix of demo reviews, information plays, and more to make the job easier, as well as understanding how the enemy will approach the round, and Vitality are great at this. So let's first show you how a normal team would do this, and then I will show you how Vitality does it. A normal team will spawn in on Dust 2 and make 2 decisions. The best long spawn will go to long, and then they will decide how the rest should set up. So let's say they go for this setup, a 2-2-1, with 2 taking long using the utility and peeking net, 1 on short jump spotting for information, 1 indoors holding the drop peak, and the last anchoring B site. After this, your round goes cold, meaning you are now just waiting for the T side to do anything, so you can react. As most teams just place their default and hope it's enough, since going for plays to get information or even map control can be risky. We hit the minute mark, and it's still quiet. So now we need to make a move, to either force the T into us, or find enough information to know how the T are playing. And here we will see one long player get flashed and take this deep angle, locking long out fully, while the other long player joins short, as we now will have 3 players taking full on mid control, leaving just B open as the only weak spot. And this will force the T to take B, or will they? As when you have one pushing up long, you leave long weak, so here the T still has a lot of options to where to go, and this is where team struggles. As when you have these options, you put a lot of pressure on the mid take to try and win as much control, meaning the mid take will usually be split, with 1 taking top mid and 2 taking lower, making your setup very fragile. So how is Vitality so much better at this than a normal team? Well, I found some rounds that proves how Vitality at the major final excelled at this. Well, look over here. Vitality has dropped 3 nades at ramp. Why? We can see Vitality are going for a 3-1-1 setup, where they will have Rops on the cross checking drop, while Messi takes mid control from bottom middle. Well then Vitality are very open about how much pressure they will use towards long, as here we can see Vitality will have 3 players taking it early, as well as smoking it. This forces Mongols, who starts in a 1-3-1, to focus all players towards middle. As we can see Rops on B will Molotov the entrance, forcing Techno to go lower. And here Mongols, when they smoke middle, they don't have a lot of utility. So this will now force them to play around the smoke, as it's quite valuable then. This is the key. Vitality are not contesting mid at all, allowing Mongols to get a lot of map control in mid early. And this is a double-edged sword, as on one hand, Mongols has the perfect route to take A sites, now with short and soon catwalk control. But if they decide to go for the take, it's impossible to fall back and try to take somewhere else, as they will not have enough utility for that. And on the mid cross to short from Mongols, Messi, who usually spam this, is not even doing that. To not try and stop Mongols in their plan to go up short to take A sites. And here Vitality are not peeking or doing anything until one smoke and flash is thrown from Mongols. This is the cue Vitality was waiting for, as Cyber will now peek from Goose while Apex just spams the nades perfect. And Vitality in a key round were able to force the Mongols into their nade stack towards catwalk, without them knowing they were being baited into a trap. The next round I want to talk about kind of plays around the same concept as the last round we broke down. But here Vitality will start quite passive, having 1 player on long, so they are leaving it quite open, while Flamesy will be a float player on A, dropping utility and being where he is needed. While Apex goes short to use HE nade towards lower tunnels on a timing, this nade makes it so that the lower take from Mongols are a bit delayed, putting some pressure on Mongols already early on, to try to do something faster lower later, and this is crucial. Then Messi will be in mid, and here he will play close to the smoke in middle, while Rops will go towards B, and again with a Molotov make sure Mongols can't rush him. The setup from Vitality are to make 2 plays possible, as Vitality has two clear weaknesses Mongols want to abuse, and that is their lack of long control, as they only have one player there, as well as they are leaving mid very open. And remember this, Mongols is now used to seeing Vitality not do anything against the smoke in middle, and this will be their downfall. Conditioning in Counter-Strike is one of those concepts that if you don't really care too much about the analytic stuff behind these teams and matches, you will never have heard of it. But the concept is that you condition the opposite team to get used to something, and when they get used to it, that's when you strike. And for Mongols, that is a lack of pressure towards the mid smoke, as Vitality aren't really doing anything when it blooms. Mongols in this round will have 2 players top middle and 3 towards tunnels. So here, Mongols are in their default kind of playing into Vitality. And something I think it's very important to remember. For Vitality to be so good at reading their opponent perfect, well, they do a lot of these reads based around the default the other team usually plays, and then make a whole read about it. And here, Mongols gets used to this mid-smoke not being contested. As we can see, Blitz makes a lot of noise dropping from the boost and running in lower tunnels. So here Messi asks for a nade from Apex, who got one dropped after he used his towards lower. And just like that, we can see Vitality find the first kill of a perfect read. Balancing aggression is one of the hardest aspects in Counter-Strike, as a team usually is either aggressive or more passive, as we saw with Art-led Furia, and we've seen in some cases with Aurora or former Eternal Fire. Team specializes in one of the 2 playstyles and rarely tries the other hand. But when you want to balance your aggression plays and passive plays, you have to have the mindset of not being afraid to lose rounds, as sometimes an aggressive play can be your downfall, and sometimes it can change the outcome of the map. So how is Vitality so good at this? Well, let me show you some rounds. This round shows this aggression balance from Vitality perfect, as they start with a very aggressive play towards middle, where Vitality will have Saivu here holding the drop peak, while Apex takes short control with a nade, as he wants to use the nade to soften the players in lower, while Robs and the Berettas will play in this off angle, as it's a 45-degree rule. And this rule is all based around how you place yourself. If you place yourself into a corner, you place yourself at a 90-degree peak angle, meaning the T will be perceived faster and it's better for them. Something that would have been the issue if it was right next to the box. But you go further back to make the peak 45 degrees, much better for you. While then Flamesy are taking long control and Messi over on B plays it super passive. And look at the map, divided early. With Messi and Flamesy in super passive roles, even though Flamesy is quite aggressive on long, one flash will force him passive, that's why I'm calling him passive here. While over in middle, Vitality are super aggressive, but only early. As soon as Mongols hits back, we see a shift with Vitality, as here Apex after nading falls back, way more passive, as there is no need for him to staying aggressive on short, while Saivu's position gets smoked off, and he falls back way more passive, and Robs alone in this super aggressive angle has to shine, and he finds 2 kills. But look how in 5 seconds a super aggressive setup now almost looked passive from Vitality, and this all came down to how Vitality understood their default, and Mongols' default, as well as knowing when to press the brakes and not. These 2 kills sets up Vitality, as now with the man advantage and being passive, you force Mongols to make the mistake, as you are not really giving them anything to work with. And here Mongols opt to try to deal with the passiveness by using an A split, with 2 players on short and 1 on long. And here, as they expected, Vitality to be passive, 910 is not ready for this pit player, and here the round falls apart from one of the craziest timing moments the Major had. Mongols are on a lower buy, so they are forced to do some off-tactic plays to win an early advantage, as they will send 3 players to A, with 2 in middle and then 1 apps early. And over on A is where Mongols will try to win some space, while over on B, Mongols are much more passive. Both players were CT and site in a 180-degree setup, kinda. Vitality will have 2 players in second middle, and then 3 towards middle to try and find an opening towards A. And here Vitality starts the round pretty aggressive, with Messi swinging middle, while Saivu swings in apps. And just like that, with the aggression, they found a 2-man advantage, now at 5v3. And here most team would just rush out to A, as they just got 2 kills there, but their Vitality just puts on the brakes fully, as their Vitality are 3 players in apps, while they will have 2 players in banana. And here they just wait, as Mongols on the 2 def on A gambles and stacks A site, as that is the most logical in this round. But here is when these balanced teams shines, as with the full on breaks from the aggressive openings. Well, this forces Mongols to act fast, and this is what Vitality wanted. As now this over rotation from Mongols, we can see Vitality freezes in apps and holds for any peaks, while the 2 banana players will walk into B and win control of site. So just this switch Vitality have to play passive or aggressive saved them in this round, as most teams would have run into the stack over on A site. The biggest secret to this Vitality era is the clearest one. There is no players that are underperforming in their roles, and I wanted to highlight this from the final with some of the rounds where we can see this brilliance. But what do I mean with this? Well, if you were to talk about any other teams in Counter-Strike, like this one right here, all teams are in the top 10 in the world. They all have a clear carry, or in some cases, carries, while the rest of the players are more of a support system around this player, just how Vitality used to be back in CSGO, meaning that these players that are carries has to always step up, otherwise a top 10 team looks more like a top 20 team, top 30 team. Look at Falcons and FaZe at the Major, where their carries both played bad in elimination games, and we saw upsets no one expected. Vitality on the other hand, well, all of them have a HLTV rating over 1.0. Something unheard of, and I wanted to show you 5 rounds and break them down to show you the brilliance of this team. In round 6 we are seeing a switch, with Messi, who usually anchors B site, will rather be in mid, while Robs will then be the B player of the round, while the rest of Vitality are over an A. And here this round will expect a lot from Robs, as Mongols are headed straight towards him, so how will he be able to hold them off solo? Rob starts by molotoving the opening and then lining up this nade right here, all to try to soften the Mongols as much as possible before the execute happens. And as we can see, Robs will not peek anything unless it's some sort of off angle or a careful jiggle, as he don't want to die. And here he smokes and starts spamming it, but does not reload until he can fall behind the boxes. And after Messi finds one kill in middle, he is headed towards Robs. And here the execute comes in. And Rob's positions does a lot. He can play around the boxes, he will not get flashed, and he can decide when to peek them. As he finds 2 kills, he falls back, and on the repick he pre-fires all normal spot the Mongols could be out by now. And this almost solo holds nets him 4 kills alone on site. Amazing anchoring from a guy who's known from lurking. I could have done 100 rounds of Saivu. He is the clear carry of this team, as of course everyone knows that, but the whole of Vitality are playing pretty well lately. But I think thus to round 10. Vitality are on lower buy, and here they will set up Saivu for success, as this is their only way of winning this round. Saivu starts the round on short, and here he will have one teammate on the left that will be the first player Mongols will fight, as a bait for Saivu, and Saivu finds 1 kill with a great wallbang. As well as Robs made this play possible by playing close lower and finding 1 kill as well. After Saivu finds the kills, Mongols are able to kill Flamesy, and this forces Vitality to split up, as they will have Apex going middle, Messi on B side, while Saivu falls and rather go towards long to now try and find 1 more kill. And here he finds 1 more kill to give Vitality the edge, as well as he gets an upgraded gun. And Saivu uses this opening not to fall back, but to keep on aggressing towards long, and he goes into the door, as this gives you a nice shadow advantage versus any players peeking. And Saivu, in a round where Vitality upgraded some pistols and had a scout, can find 3 kills and win the round for them. I think most sees Messi as their subpar player on Vitality, but he might be the best anchor we have in Counter-Strike right now, as after Magisk left Vitality, he took over the role as the anchor for the team, and in this round he proves how good he is at this role. Mongols are sending 4 players fast B, while they keep 1 lurker in apps just to maybe go for a flank, fake, or finding a kill. And there Messi has to shine to hold off the push from Mongols. Messi will go and play pillar, as this will help him avoid any flashes, and he can peek off the timing from his 2 other teammates. And there Messi plays it perfect by finding the first kill to trade, and then he repositions. As now Mongols know where he is, so repositioning could actually give him a lot more. And it will, just wait. And when Mongols regroups and starts to attack again, they will not expect Messi to already be towards the boxes on the right side for them, as Messi finds 2 more kills before his guns runs out of bullet and he is dealt with. But finding 3 kills from such a bad position is not too bad for just an anchor. Vitality just lost their first round on Dust 2, and here I will break down how Flamesy single-handedly held off a rush with a great off angle and just fast thinking. It's a 4v3 in Vitality's favor, but Mongols wants to win short, and here it's only Flamesy that can hold it, as Saivu are forced to soon check long. And look how he does it. He goes to an off angle, as he knows if Saivu falls on long, he is fully alone, and being pushed on Goose or on ramp from short and long at the same time is not a good position to be in then. And here he goes for this off angle towards the smoke, as when the T's run out of the smoke, they will flash, so you kinda are warned when it will happen, as well as they are not looking towards you, but rather towards side, ramp and long. And Flamesy finds 2 kills after Saivu falls, and then just hides here and waits for backup. Perfect. Apex ended this major final as the highest ranked player, as he was able to win clutches and just read Mongols perfect, as most of the rounds we have talked about has been based around his ability to read the play, set up his team, and just be a great leader. As an IGL with so many stars on your team, to still be able to perform at a higher rating than 1.0 is unheard of, and something we only have really seen with Glavin Australis when he won the MVP of an event. And in round 8 we will see why Apex is so great. It's a 2v2 and Apex rotates over from B to library. And here we will start by jump spotting to try and figure out how and where Mongols are playing from, as well as taking all of their attention away from Flamesy on short. I was like, he don't care if he dies, he knows Flamesy with enough information can win this round. So all he's really trying to do is just finding information and allowing Flamesy to shine. Then he walks out of library and uses a Molotov and a nade to force both Mongols players stuck towards site, as Flamesy can now confirm no players are on short. And here he plays off Flamesy perfect, as Apex finds both kills to give Vitality a 4-round lead. And there you have it. This is how Vitality not only won a major, but won the whole season, only losing 2 games in total. One best of 3 to a Turtle Fire that was close, I made a video about it. That is the reason Vitality did not win all of their went for the season, and then a best of 1 to Legacy. That I broke down here. Thanks for watching, and here are 2 videos YouTube told me you would like. Bye.